Hey, what is up everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at XRP, which is currently up roughly 2.4%. The entire market is slowly starting to stabilize, with Bitcoin being over $98,000, Ethereum over $2,800, and Bitcoin dominance slowly starting to drop off. Now this is all well and good, but will we see another crash? And I personally think not as bad as the one that we have seen. You know, we saw this entire dip from $3.12 to $2.57, which was huge. This was like a 30% crash, and it even went as far as $1.76, like a 50% drop in the span of a day, which was absolutely crazy. It obviously wicked massively and we came back up. We actually ended the candle green. So yeah, clearly a lot of buyers are stepping in, and crypto is not dead. You know, if this was the start of a bear market, we wouldn't have seen such a wick. If we go to, you know, the previous bear market that we had, I don't think we were getting these sorts of wicks. We have to go back all the way to 2021 right here and go on to the daily. You'll see the wicks are actually to the upside. So, you know, when wicks are this big to the upside, it means that there's a lot of sellers stepping into the market. And if we compare to what we have right now, you'll see that there isn't, you know, the wicks, there is some wicks to the upside, but it's not as large as the wicks to the downside, which means there's a lot more buyers stepping in at these levels than there is sellers. And I think that should be the case for XRP, especially considering that the SEC lawsuit is now fully over. We have a pro-crypto president, we have a new SEC cabinet appointed for crypto and crypto regulations that are actually pro-crypto, and that XRP can now actually be used by US institutions, which will be huge for XRP. So yeah, I think we are definitely still in a bull market. The bear market hasn't started yet, and this is just for XRP. If we compare this for Bitcoin, then we should get a similar story. Like here you can see the wicks are obviously, there is some to the upside, but most are to the downside, which is good. If we compare here, for example, I mean, it was a similar story. Bitcoin doesn't really wick too much. It's, you know, the biggest crypto coin, so we don't see these large wicks. But overall, when we crash on Bitcoin, you know, we see these huge weekly candles to the downside that are like 30, 40, 50% to the downside, whereas right now we're not really seeing that. It's sort of more of a consolidation. We're more in this sort of range, and the only real scare that, you know, there would be is the fact that its strength is slightly slowing down on the body of the candles, but even on the wicks it's still trending up. You know, we created a new all-time high just a few weeks ago, so I definitely think the strength is still there. You know, it's just a consolidation. You have to also remember we went from, you know, $16,000 all the way to $110,000 nearly in the span of 13 months, and we went from 64,000 to 110,000 in the span of like 2 months, 3 months. So there's been a lot of increase, and we need to slightly slow that down, simply because if there's not enough people entering, we can't continue going up, and people don't want to enter at these massive levels, and other people that entered at way lower levels also need to sell off their positions a bit. Nobody wants to hold, you know, a coin that's gone up 10x or 5x or 8x for the rest of their lives. They want to sell off and invest in other things or buy other things. So I think we're seeing a bit of that, and once we do drop to these lower levels, which we already have done, you know, we're able to continue going up because there's more buyers stepping in. Now, we also had BlackRock purchasing some Ethereum this week, which was majorly the major news. Not much Bitcoin that I saw, although they probably did. And again, this isn't, you know, BlackRock themselves purchasing for them to hold. It's the BlackRock investors. So people that invest into the fund, they want to, you know, get some exposure into crypto, and then they get exposed via the ETF, which essentially just the ETF buys Ethereum, holds Ethereum, and the investors buy the ETF, which is a correlation of Ethereum. That's sort of how it works. Now let's go back to XRP now that we've discussed the majority of the crypto market. So yeah, XRP is looking strong, and if we're having these more so institutional investors, you know, buy into altcoins, specifically Ethereum, it means that other altcoins must also be strong, because when the market moves, the market moves. It's not like we'll see Ethereum rally and all the other altcoins dump unless there's a major news event, which I highly doubt there is. But even if that happens, altcoins will still see a move up. And for XRP, you know, what better time to start really dollar cost averaging in that than right now? Obviously the best time was a few days ago here at $1.80, but I think even right now we're at a good level here at like $2.40. You know, it's a strong support at the 3.618 level on the fib. I think overall this is definitely a good starting point. And another thing you have to remember is it's much better investing at $2.40 in the current day and stage of the market than it was investing, you know, at like 35 cents in 23 or 24, simply because the market has completely changed. Back then, you know, you were buying into a coin that was being investigated by the SEC. We had an anti-crypto president, essentially, you know, an anti-crypto SEC. That everything was stacked against XRP, so investing in it then was much riskier than it was investing in it now, which a lot of people don't realize. So yeah, I think right now with everything going on, obviously that has been priced in quite significantly. Like we did a 5x from, you know, a few months ago, so it has been priced in, but the upside is still definitely there. So I'd definitely be looking to dollar cost averaging right here. Second dollar cost averaging entry would be slightly lower. We'd look for somewhere around here at $2.14, and a final entry, sort of a low ball at $1.84. Now those are just $3 cost averaging entries that I'd set, and in terms of take profit levels, you could easily target, you know, for the shorter term, the current all-time high that we have here at 42% profit, $3.40. Or if you really want to, you know, push sort of the limits here, I don't know if we can go beyond the 4.236 area here. We can, but it doesn't do much. So, you know, and beyond that, we have to adjust our Fibonacci levels here. So for example, so if we adjust our Fibonacci levels like this, you know, then you could easily be targeting $4.40 here at 80% profit. And I'd really, you know, wouldn't go, to be honest, I would go a bit higher. $6 here at 150% profit, and then, you know, we're going into $7 and $8. But overall, I think the XRP now does have the potential to hit these major higher levels, rather than, you know, we sort of really overestimate. I think it has the potential right now, with everything going on. A few more major catalysts would definitely help it. So that's what we're going to be waiting for. I think it's best to start dollar cost averaging in now if you're not in XRP yet. Personally, you know, we've been entering XRP when the time wasn't quite right at these major low levels, so there's no real reason for us to enter now. But if you're not exposed yet to XRP, I'd definitely start getting exposed at these lower levels, at least in terms of, you know, where we were at $3.50, and start targeting these higher levels for like 150% profit, which I think is on the lower risk side. If you really want, you can set stop losses, you know, slightly below here at like $1.30, but I wouldn't really do so because we're entering on spot. If you're looking for leverage trades, then I'd go into a slightly lower time frame. Like you can go in the 4 hour, you can go in the 1 hour, and this is how I like to do it. So we look for any sort of a bullish momentum, and that's another reason why whenever we get these massive dumps, and you know, I'm looking for entries at a specific level, that's why I don't enter in at the first sort of tap that we get into it. Instead, I wait for my entry to be hit on a lower time frame. So if, for example, we see the initial dump, then we get the initial bounce, which, you know, catching this is impossible. So what you then want to look for is something bullish. Like here, for example, we got a fair value gap, which will need to eventually be filled. As you can see, it was filled. Then we have an order block here created because of the fair value gap, so you can easily enter in at the order block, which is a great strategy to do. You know, you can enter in at the tap at 50% of the fill or 100% of the fill. So you entered in at 50%, entry easily filled. You can set your stops to the previous wick low, you know, profits to the next high if you really want the next high, or even you can go as far to, you know, a daily high on the daily chart. But after such a significant crash, you know, if we're just targeting the next high, it's already 20% profit. With 10-20x leverage, you're looking at, you know, 200-400% profit. Another thing I like to do is, for example, now we're like 4% in profit, is I never like to take risk on trades. So I'd instantly set my stop loss either to break even after, you know, we see this initial move up, or I'd set it to profits, like here, for example, which would give us, what would that be, you know, 1.6% profit. So 30 or 15% profit on with leverage, if the stop loss is hit. I think that's the best way to do it. You're that way avoiding liquidation, avoiding any sort of risk with the trade, and that's how I'm able to maintain such a strong win rate, and actually remain profitable in the market. You know, a lot of traders will try to enter and simply just they leave their stop loss even when the market is moving in their direction, and they don't try and mitigate risk in any sort of way, which is, you know, quite foolish, because when the market does change direction, like we've seen it do multiple times, you'll get stopped out and it will be very, very hard to recover. So yeah, that's what I'd be doing. Now, other coins I'm going to be keeping an eye out for today and this week: Sui, which is acting quite well. Another good support level here for Sui. H-bar, very, very similar to XRP actually. Fetch here just dropped below the support area. Looks quite weak, but overall it's a good project, so I'm just going to be maintaining some eyes on it. Render, another coin, very low volume currently, so there might be a good potential trade there. Polkadot, another coin, it's at this sort of order block that we have, and an overall good entry. AVAX, another coin at a support similar to HBAR or XRP. Solana, really sort of in no man's land here, so we might drop to 185, we might break above 206, quite indicative right now. Ethereum, again, this is the major coin for institutions, so it's going to be a good one to keep an eye out on. We bounce off of this great support level. Can we flip $2,900? We'll have to see. And Bitcoin, obviously we need to come back above $100,000. Now that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, check out all the links in the description if you need a place to buy, sell, or trade cryptocurrency. We have all of that, and if you want to be copying my trades, you can do so as well with the first link in the description. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye guys.